to start recording, and we are going to begin standing with our bands. So we'll head on over to wherever our mats are. And for a moment, just like you can just have the band in one hand. And just take a few moments here to bring your awareness to what it feels like to be standing. You might close your eyes, or you can keep them open if you prefer. But I want you to focus on sensation, particularly the feeling of your body as you're standing. Begin by feeling your feet, all the different parts of your feet that touch the floor. Imagine you could send little roots down from the whole bottom surface of your foot that touches the floor. Root yourself down deeply into the earth. Feel solid, grounded, connected. Maybe put a slight bend in your knees so there's maybe a little deeper feeling of weight in your feet. And then push down to straighten your knees. And as you push down to straighten your knees, think about straightening your body a little bit more. Maybe you're already standing nice and tall. Maybe you could stand a little taller. But as you stand tall, notice if your tendency is to lift your chin. And instead of lifting your chin, maybe slightly drop your chin and lengthen and lift up from the back of your head. So the back of the neck is long. And as you're standing, take a few rounds of deep breaths. So invite a nice full deep breath in. And let the breath empty all the way out. If you can, breathe in and out through your nose. Go ahead and do that. If you're stuffed up, feel free to keep your mouth open. Feel your lungs expand, feel your ribs expand, feel your breath empty. Do that for a couple more rounds of breath. Notice what it feels like when you breathe in. Notice what it feels like when you breathe out. Let the exhale fully release. All right, with your next breath, open your eyes. We'll just switch to a more natural breath rhythm. And we're going to take the band, and you can hold it down in front of you. And you're going to want a pretty kind of loose grip, and your hands fairly wide. So you're not like super tight together, but there's a little more slack in your band. So as we breathe in, we're going to take the arms forward and up, and we're going to like pull on the strap. And as we breathe out, we're going to just let it come down and let the arms relax. So we're going to inhale and stretch up, and exhale and lower down. So as we're taking the arms up, we're just going to move from the shoulders. So we're not going to move the hips forward or the ribs forward. As I just demonstrated, we're going to keep the trunk steady, stable, and just move from the arms. So then this time we're going to inhale up, and you might need to widen your grip. We're going to see if we can go all the way back and down. So if you take a wide enough grip, maybe this won't bother your shoulders. If it bothers your shoulders, you can just keep going forward, up and down without going behind the body. But we're going to try and take the shoulders through the range of motion. And so there's some tension in the strap, but it's mostly just a little bit of resistance as we circle the arms up and back and down. And can we do this movement just from the shoulders? So again, the body isn't rocking or rolling, just the arms are moving. And we can be breathing, nice, long, full, deep breaths here. Inhaling up and exhaling back. And maybe the same thing, just so long as you're breathing deeply, however you want to do that. Maybe you're starting to feel the shoulder muscles work a little bit. This time, let's take the arms up, And we're just going to stretch over to one side and lift up with the arm that's up and kind of stretch into that side and breathe. And then go back up, breathe out, and then stretch over to the other side. Breathe into that side where the arm is up, and then come up. Now we're gonna let the body arch. So let the heart lift up and arch back a little bit as you breathe in. And then come forward. We're gonna soften the knees, and we're just gonna drop into a forward fold. And you can let your arms dangle. You're just barely holding onto your strap. Your head drops down. Your knees are soft. So there's kind of a stretch in your low back, maybe a little stretch in the back of your legs. You might sway your shoulders a little bit side to side as you breathe in and out. And then sway center, we're gonna roll up. So draw the belly in and just start to slowly, gradually roll yourself up, stacking your vertebrae. Eventually bringing your head up. And then we're going to do that same thing just with a wider stance. So take your feet a little wider, root them down. And then same idea, take the arms up in the air. We're going to arch. So we're going to lift the heart and arch back a little bit. And then we're going to fold forward. So you can soften your knees as your arms come down. Just let your arms hang, let your head relax down. Your feet are parallel. You could move your shoulders or your hips a little bit here as you breathe in and out. And then as you come center, we're going to roll up from this more straddle position here. Roll yourself up. Just taking your time. As we come up, we're going to take the arms up in the air, and you're going to stretch over to the side with this wider stance. Lift up with that high arm and just breathe into that side. Pull down with your bottom arm, and then come up. Let's do that to the other side. Lean over, stretch where that arm is up in the air. Breathe into that side. Pull down with your bottom arm, and then come back up. And then we'll just let the arms come down. Okay, we're gonna make our way all the way down onto our backs. We'll still use the strap, so keep up your strap. Make your way back down. Actually, before we use the strap, set your strap off to the side. I want you to lie with your arms like cactus arms. So your arms are gonna be like goalposts or right angles. I'm gonna show you sitting up, but you're gonna be lying on the floor. So the back of your elbows and maybe the back of your hands are touching the floor. Some people, their hands don't touch, but you're in this position on your back. And then I just want you to rotate your hands forward, or your forearms. So now your arms are up toward the ceiling. So this is, and then you could kind of rotate a little further. So this is internal rotation. And then if we let the hands go back, that's external rotation, right? So we come up, we're going to rotate the shoulders in. And then if we go back into that cactus position, that's external rotation. So just kind of understanding or reinforcing what that movement is like. Okay, so now find your strap, and we're going to place it around the left foot, the ball of the left foot. And you can hold it with your left hand. Your right leg can be out straight. And we're just going to start to circle that leg around. Just nice, easy movement here. Just that the strap is supporting the leg so it can easily circle. And if we just let the leg do big circles, chances are our hips are going to kind of roll side to side. So then can you stabilize your core, your trunk, kind of brace, and see if you can do this circular movement with your leg without letting your body move, your torso, your hips. All that is staying steady because you're bracing through your core. Let's try circling the legs the other way, or the leg. And same thing, trying to minimize movement of your trunk by bracing a bit here. Just engaging through the trunk to keep the hips from moving. Great. Let's change legs. So we're going to put the other foot up in the strap, and then the leg that was up can come down. You're going to hold it with the same arm as the leg. And again, initially just let your body move. Do big circles, and you will see that your hips will lift and turn. Your trunk might turn a little bit. And then if you were to brace, kind of play around with how big of a leg movement you can do without letting your hips move. So that bracing of your core is keeping your trunk steady and stable. Let's circle that leg in the other direction a few times. Just kind of loosening up the hips here and waking up the core with this circular movement of the leg. We'll circle around one more time. Great. All right, open up that strap. And now we're going to put both our feet up into the strap. So, you know, the nice thing about these resistance bands is you can always have less space between your hands and then it's harder to pull, or you could have more distance and then it's easier to pull. So you might have to play around with this. I want you to have enough resistance that it's a little bit of a challenge to pull your elbows out and down. So it's kind of that internal rotation position that we had. Your arms are like cactus arms up toward the ceiling. So you're going to reach up, and then you're going to pull your back of your upper arm to the floor. You're going to reach up, you're going to pull out and down. Reach up. So if that's too easy, you can walk your hands up the strap a little bit. So it's a little more work to pull out and down. I'm going to show you sitting up so you can see this motion with the arms. So your back of your arms come to the floor, and rather than your arms being like this, open them up so they're more like a right angle as your arms come down. And then we're going to add something to this. So you might need to make a little less resistance on your band, because once your back of your arms is on the floor, can you do that external rotation into cactus arms and then internal rotation? So external rotation and then internal rotation, just like we did before when we didn't have the strap. So this is, you know, a challenge. So you might need to be holding more towards the end of your strap, depending on how tight of a resistance band you have. This could be difficult. And if it's too much, if your strap isn't long enough or something, you can go back to doing it without a strap like we did when we started. So we're doing external rotation, internal rotation, external rotation, internal rotation. Let's reach up again. We're going to pull down, external rotation, internal rotation. Reach up, pull back, wide, external rotation, internal rotation. Two more like that. Reach up, pull down, back of the arm on the floor, cactus arms, and then back up. One more time. Up, pull down, external and internal. Great. Okay, bend your knees, take the strap off, set it to the side. We'll roll to the side and come on up. All right, from here, we're going to wake up the core a little bit more. We're going to sit facing towards me. And again, I want you to put the strap around your feet. And you're just going to probably take the end of it and kind of hold it up against your chest. And if you find that sitting up straight, if you tend to be a little bit leaned back when you try to sit up on a blanket. Put something under here so that you can sit up nice and upright. So as you're holding the strap close to your chest, just root down and take a breath in as you sit up tall. And we're just going to twist. It doesn't matter which direction you start in, just twist to one side. And there's just a little bit of resistance because the strap is kind of making it a little more challenging. And you have to use the muscles of your trunk, your obliques, to twist. And then come back to center, and then twist the other way. Just rotating your ribs around and your shoulders. And then come back to center. Try that again. Go the first side, twist around, and come back to center, and then go to the second side. Twist around, and come back to center. So you could continue doing it like that, or take your arms more straight. You might take a little tighter hold of your strap. With your arms out in front, you're going to twist to that first side, and then take the arm that could reach behind you and open it out so that you might twist a little further, and then come back, come center, And then start to twist the other side. Hold it with the one hand. The hand that's going the direction you're twisting reaches behind you. Take a breath. And then come back around. Come center. We'll do it one more time. So you could be back where we were, hands close or arms out in front. Twist in that first direction. If your arms are out in front, take that one arm behind you. Take a breath. And then come back to center. And then twist the other way. Perhaps taking that other arm behind you. Take a breath. And then come back. Great. All right. Set that strap off to the side. We're going to come around to all fours. And we're going to crawl. So you might start towards the back of your mat. So we all have really different environments where you're practicing. If you're on a wood floor, it might be hard on your knees to crawl. So you might lay out a blanket or something. So we're going to start just crawling, hands and knees. And you can stay on your mat. If you've got carpeting and it's not too hard, you can just go crawling anywhere. Just crawl around and crawl forward and try crawling backward. And that's going to be one option. It's just crawling with your knees on the floor. The next option is going to be to curl the toes under and lift the knees and crawl around, bear crawl we call this, with the knees off the floor. And if you keep your knees close to the floor, it's going to be more challenging. If you take your hips higher in the air, it's going to make it a little easier. So just kind of move around. And if you need to go back to knees on the floor for a little break, go ahead and do that. Try moving forward, try moving sideways perhaps, try moving backwards. So we're just bearing load. We're bearing the weight of our body with the strength of our arms, our shoulders, our cores working here. The legs are working. So crawling is a really nice warm up, good for coordination. So let's make our way back to the mat. We'll take a break. So we're going to sit into child's pose. You could have your arms out in front or supporting your head or behind, alongside, whatever feels good. Take a few breaths here. Notice how it's feeling to be alive in this moment. Maybe a breath of gratitude just for this moment, this day, this opportunity to move and breathe. Then with your next inhale, lift your head up. So I wanted to point out, if anyone's feeling like this is too much weight on their wrists, you can always do what we're doing with your hands on a chair, so there's a little less weight. You could also do some of these things at a wall, like do the same idea using the wall as the floor. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be either at the wall or the chair or the floor. I want you to take your strap and place it across the mat so that you have your hands on top of the strap, the band, whatever, and your hands are shoulder distance apart, your knees are beneath your hips. And then we're going to take that resistance band in one hand. And again, you're going to have to play around with the amount of resistance you want. We're going to lift that arm out to the side. We're going to go straight out to the side, and then we're just going to let that hand touch down. Straight out to the side, and then let the hand touch down. Straight out to the side, and let it touch down. So we're working the back of the shoulder here in one direction here. Looking straight out to the side and down. Straight out to the side and down. Now take your hand back by your knee, that same hand back by your knee, and then lift the arm up and back. So it's kind of moving alongside your thigh. Arm goes down, and then it lifts up. It can go higher than your hip, and then back down by your knee. So we're lifting up and back and down. Up and back and down. Now lift it up and back. Keep your upper arm as it is. Bend your lower arm in, and then extend it straight back. Bend it in, and extend it straight back. So targeting the tricep here. And you might adjust your band so that you have more resistance. You might adjust your band so you have less resistance. You might decide that it's the right amount of resistance. So let's do a few more of these. Bending in and back, bending in and back. Last one like this. Take that straight arm, hold it up, and then lower down. All right, we'll do that with the other arm. So you're gonna start with your hands beneath you and just go straight out to the side and back down. Straight out to the side and back down. You might notice that your core kind of fires here to keep you steady and stable. And you can synchronize your breath. You can inhale as you lift and exhale to lower. A lot of times focusing on the breath really helps us to focus our mind on what we're doing. One more time out to the side. And then take that hand back by your knee and lift straight up alongside your thigh, kind of. And then lower down. Lift up and back and lower down. Keep your spine long here. Keep your trunk steady. Try not to shift your hips to one side or your head to one side. Now lift the arm straight back and then keep the elbow where it is. Bend the lower arm in and extend it straight back. Bend the lower arm in and extend it straight back. Bend it in and extend it back. Let's do a few more like that. Make sure you're extending all the way back so you really feel that tricep engage. It's engaging through the movement here, which is the nice thing about bands. And it can work in two directions. And the next time your arm is back straight, hold it there, take a breath, and then you can release it down. Good job. Let's just set the strap off to the side and we'll again sit into child's pose. Give your arms a break. Take them wherever feels good. Sometimes it feels nice to bring them alongside your body, or maybe you like to support your head with your arms. Whatever. Breathe. Maybe gratitude that we're done doing that arm movement. A couple more breaths. So now with your next inhale, lift your head up. Reach your arms way out in front. We're going to make our way to downward facing dog. So come into your down dog and just take a little time to be here. Now we feel our hands on the floor, just like we did at the beginning of class. We're feeling our feet on the floor. Really feel your whole hand, pressing down, thumbs, fingers, knuckles. As you spread out the weight in your hands, bend your knees a bit, pull your hips way up and back. Feel your spine lengthen. Release your head, shake it a little bit. Maybe move your hips a little side to side. Maybe bend a knee and pedal a heel to the ground. Do any movement that feels nice here. And then take a few deep breaths in and out as you're here upside down. Great. Bend both knees a bit. Take both hips way up and back. Take a breath in. And then let's lower to straight arm plank. Shoulders over wrists. Nice and long and strong here. Take a breath. And then let your knees come down. And we're going to lower onto belly. Without changing anything, let's push right back up to knees. We're going to lift the knees up and go up and back to down dog. Take a breath. Exhale to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, knees down, chest down. Keep your hands right where they are and push back up. Lift your knees up to down dog. Take a breath. Exhale to straight arm plank. Now you can be doing this against the wall. If this is too much weight on your arms, you could do this against the wall. Now you could drop to knees or just lower down. You might be able to push straight up or push up to knees and then lift your knees up and back to down dog. Take a breath. And again, lower straight arm plank. Take a breath and then lower all the way down. This time we'll stay here. So you might slide your hands back a little bit so your chest can sink closer into the floor for your prone mountain. Reaching back through the toes as you lengthen through the crown. Let's inhale up to baby cobra. So start to activate extension through your upper back from right between the shoulder blades. Lift up and pull your heart forward. Feel your spine lengthening as it extends or arches. Try not to take your chin forward. Keep the back of the neck long and then lower back down. Let's do that again. Inhale up to baby cobra. Work right between the shoulder blades to extend. And then lift your hands up, hug your elbows in, and pull your heart a little more forward and take a breath. And then release your hands, release your chest. Nose very close to the ground now. This time hands stay down. We'll inhale up to baby cobra. And then if we like, we can push down and come up a little higher to cobra. Take a breath. And then lower down. Great. Let's push back to knees. And I want us to find our strap. Set it across your mat. I call it a strap. I guess I should call it a band. So that when you lay down on it, it's under your hips. Okay? So it's under your hips. And then you can grab it on either side of your body. So grab it with your hands. It's right under the hip bones. You find the strap in your hands, and we're going to straighten our arms. So your arms are straight alongside your body. Let's just hover the head like we do in our prone mountain. And then we're going to pull that strap up toward the ceiling. Straight arms lifting up toward the ceiling. And then lower them back down. You can let them relax. And then lift the arms up toward the ceiling. Lift your fists up toward the ceiling. Your arms are just slightly wider than your body. And then lower them down. This time, I want you to lift your arms up and then lift your chest up like we did in baby cobra. And then lower them both down. So arms lift up, chest lifts up. Take a breath and lower down. Now you could keep doing it like that. You could just go back to the arms or just the chest, or we're going to add the legs. So let's start with the legs. Press the hips down, lift the legs up. Then lift the arms and lift the chest. And then lower back down. Everything comes down. So 1, 2, or 3, all lifting up and lowering down with the breath. Inhaling to lift, legs, arms, chest. Exhaling to lower. A few more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Lovely. All right, leave the strap. Push yourself up and back to child's pose. Drop into any arm position you like. Maybe your arms extended straight out in front, maybe supporting your head, maybe alongside your body. And breathe here. Breathe in gratitude for something. What are you grateful for this morning? And with your next inhale, lift your head up. And we're just going to set the band off to the side. And we're going to, again, transition up to downward facing dog. Make your way here to your down dog. Breathe in and out. And then let's look forward and walk our feet up towards our hands. We'll plant our feet beneath us. Let's bend the knees and lower the hips down. Bring hands to heart. We'll keep the hips low, but lift the chest up. We'll reach the arms forward, and maybe we can therefore sit back a little more into our chair. Let's take one arm and sweep it behind. Inhale and twist to that side. Try to keep your knees parallel here. Take a breath. Sweep that arm down, bring it in front. Take your other arm, sweep it down, twist and open to that side. Try to keep your knees parallel. Take a breath. Sweep that arm down, reach it out in front. Keep your hips low, but lift your arms up alongside your ears. And then push into your feet and legs to inhale and rise up, reach up. And we'll exhale, arms down to our side. Great. Okay, we're going to do some standing work with the band. So as you find your band, what we're going to do is take it to one side of your mat and step on it. Let's step on it maybe with the right foot. And then come into a wide stance, our warrior stance. So we have the back foot turned in and the front foot turned out. And we've got this strap, the band under that front foot. And then for now, just you can have that same front leg, just hold the strap in your hand, hands on hips. So as we push the feet down, let's just bend the knee and straighten it. So there's really not any resistance with the band for now. We're just holding on to it while we kind of warm up this movement here. Bending the knee and straightening the knee and bending the knee. Keeping that outer foot planted as the knee bends. And then the next time the knee is bent, pausing there. From here, we're going to tip the hips over. We're going to let this bottom arm come on the bottom leg, and we'll grab the band in the other hand. So with your other hand, reach further down, closer to the floor. So you're going to grab the band with your arm that's not on your thigh. And imagine you're starting your lawnmower. So you're going to pull up, turn your chest towards the computer, and then turn your chest to the floor. Pull up, rotate, lead with your elbow, and then roll back down. So you're rotating your trunk towards the computer, rotating your shoulders to the floor, rotating, leading with the elbow, and then rotating down. One more time like that. Rotating open, rotating down. Now you're probably going to want a little looser grip on the band, because we're going to start the same way, rotating towards the computer, and then we're going to reach that arm up. Then we're going to bend, keep the elbow high, and then we're going to lower down. So we're going to rotate towards the computer, press that top arm up, bend the elbow, rotate shoulders to the ground. Rotate to the computer, press up, bend the elbow, rotate down. One more time, lead with the elbow, rotate, press up, bend, rotate down. Great. All right. Don't worry about the strap, just make your way up. Straighten your front leg. So again, now we're going to have straight legs. We're going to hold it in the opposite hand. So the front leg, that hand is going to slide down into a triangle pose. So we slide down into triangle. And now you can have a little bend in this front knee, or it can be straight. Then with the top arm, we're going to press up. So it comes across the chest as you press up. And if you need to adjust tighter or looser, go ahead and do so. So now, can you come up a little bit and then come back down? So your bottom hand is on your shin. Go up a little bit and come back over. Go up a little bit and come back over. One more time, this little movement. Now, can you press up and keep your arm up toward the ceiling, come all the way up. And then tip over. Keep your arm toward the ceiling. So we're going to come up, press that arm straight up, and then tip over. Keep your arm up. One more time like that. Press up, come all the way up, go over. Arm is still up. This time we'll come up, and then we'll let the arm come down. We'll take that strap band out of that foot, and we're going to do that whole series on the other side. So you're going to step on the band with that other foot. You're in your warrior stride with this back foot turned in so your hip can turn in. For now, just have it in that front hand. Have your hands on your hips, and we're just going to bend and straighten. Just warming up this movement. Keeping the outer foot planted so we work into that ankle a little bit. Bending and straightening to open the hips a little bit here. Connecting with your breath, feeling your body, feeling your feet on the ground. The next time the knee is bent, pause there and tip your hips over. Let the bottom arm come to rest on the bottom leg, holding the band in your other hand. So now grab it kind of low. Now we're going to start the lawnmower. Turning the chest to the computer, elbow high, and then turning the chest to the floor. Turn, rotate, lead with the elbow, and then lower back down. So you're working the back of the shoulder, rotating the trunk, and then turning back to the ground. Rotate around. So you decide, is this too much resistance? Is it not enough resistance? You want the resistance to create a little more muscle engagement. So there's more of a challenge than if you weren't using the strap. But of course, anytime you decide this is too much, you're always welcome to drop the strap and just do the movement without the strap. All right, so the next time you come up, lead with your elbow and turn towards the camera. You might need to widen your distance of your straps so that you can reach it up toward the ceiling. And then bend the elbow and rotate towards the ground. So lead with your elbow, rotate to the camera and press up, bend, release and rotate down. A couple more like that. Rotate and press up, bend and lower down, rotate and press up, bend and lower down. All right, let's just straighten up and straighten the front leg. So now we're going to tip over like triangle pose. So you're going to slide the hand down the leg, tip over into triangle, and then you're going to take the top arm up. So you're pulling that strap across your chest. Bottom hand is on your shin. Can we lift up a little bit and come back over? Lift up a little bit and come back over. Two more like that. Lift up a little bit and come back over. Lift up a little bit and come back over. Great. Now, your arm is reaching up toward the ceiling. Keep your arm reaching up toward the ceiling as you come all the way up. And then tip over, keep your arm up toward the ceiling. So arm stays up toward the ceiling as you come up. Works the shoulder in a different way. Tip over, come up, tip over. This next time we'll just come up and we'll relax the arm. Whew, good work. Great job. Okay. We're gonna be done with the bands soon. I think we're gonna do one more thing with the bands. We're gonna do lunges. So we're gonna stand at the front of the mat and take the band like this and you're gonna step on it with one foot. And you have about an equal amount of strap in both hands. So you got one foot on the strap or band, take a big step back with your other foot. And you can start with your heel down, but then lift the heel up. So your hips are facing the short end of your mat and your feet are as wide as your hips. So we're gonna bend both knees. We're gonna come into a lunge. Back knee bends down, front knee bends as well, and then we push up to straighten. So we're just doing a basic lunge. And as we lunge down, we're gonna bicep curl. So we're gonna lower as we straighten, curl up as we lunge. Lower as we straighten, curl up as we lunge. Yeah. So if it's easy to curl up, you can make the resistance a little more so that you want it to be like you have to slow your arms down rather than the arms, the band wants to just pull them down, right? But you have to slow the release. So we can work eccentrically and concentrically, those muscles, as they're shortening and as they're lengthening. So a few more like this. Pulling up as you lunge, lowering down as you straighten, pulling up and down. Now let's just do some pulses. So you're gonna pulse with your arms, you're gonna pulse with your legs. Let's do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. All right, step that foot in. We're just gonna change our stride. So you're gonna step on it with your other foot. You have about the same amount on either side. Take a big step back. I'll just face you guys. Your feet are as wide as your hips. You're gonna bend the back knee and bend the front knee. And then push back up. Bend both knees and push back up. And as we do that, we're going to bicep curl and lower down. Bicep curl and lower down. Now if that's too easy, make it harder. If that's too much, put a little more space between your hands. Keep your shoulders over your hips. Try not to lean forward. Try not to let your arms just drop down. Lower them down slowly so that it's resistant. You're resisting the lowering of your arms. We'll do one more slow. And then we're going to do those pulses. So you're going to pulse your lunge and pulse your biceps. And we'll do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good job. Step it in. Okay, done with the bands. Woohoo. Now I want you, if you have a chair or an edge of a bed or edge of a couch that you can use, that'd be great. Have it nearby. Make your way down onto your back. We're not going to put our feet up on it right away, but we will shortly. But first we're going to warm up we're going to articulate the spine a little bit. So make your way to lying down and just be grateful that we get to lie down. It feels like a little break, which is nice. So have your feet as wide as your hips, have your heels in fairly close. And can you relax your upper back into the floor and maybe feel the bottom of your low ribs where they are on the ground. So where the last rib attaches to the spine is the base of the thoracic spine. We're going to keep that part of the spine on the floor. And we're going to just start to curl up the sacrum off the floor and start to curl the lumbar vertebrae up off the floor. So just to the point where the bottom ribs attach to the spine. And that part's going to stay down. And then lower your lumbar spine out of that bridge until you're back onto your sacrum. And do that again. Lift your sacrum, start to curl your lower vertebrae off the floor just to the point where your ribs attach, your thoracic spine begins. And then release your lumbar spine again until your low back is on the ground or your sacrum. All right, so start the same way. Lift your sacrum, curl up your lumbar vertebrae till you reach your thoracic spine. And then let's continue lifting up and up and up until the weight is up on the shoulders. Once your weight is up, let your knees and shins press forward to lift the hips. Take a breath at the top. And then a nice, slow, gradual, easy rolling down, articulating the spine until your sacrum is all the way down. We're going to do one more time, just however you like. You're going to lift up into your bridge, coming up as high as you like, taking a breath at the top, and then allowing the spine to slowly, gradually, incrementally release down. Okay, once you're all the way down, then we're going to get to the place where we can put our heels on something. Edge of your bed, edge of the couch, edge of the chair. And as you're here, your hips are a little further back than your knees. Rather than your knees right over your hips, your knees are a little forward of your hips. And then separate your heels about as wide as your hips. You got your heels on the whatever it is and your feet up toward the ceiling, your arms down at your side. We're just going to press the heels into the surface to lift the hips up. And you're probably going to notice your hamstrings firing to do this motion and also your glutes, and then lower back down. So we're going to press down to lift the hips up and then release the hips all the way down. Press down to lift the hips up release the hips all the way down. So you can take you can come all the way down each time and take a little rest, or you could go up and then go almost all the way down, but not quite, and then go up again. So there's more of a continuous work or contraction here. So it's your choice. You might take a break with your back on the ground each time, or you might get close to the ground and just continue going up and down. So let's do this a few more times. Should be feeling the back of your thighs and into your glutes, firing as you do this. We'll go up and down 2 more times like this. And the next time you're released down, you can come all the way down and just let your legs relax. You might straighten them out, you might shake them out, you might hug your knees, and whatever allows you to feel a sense of release. And take a breath. All right, so come back to where you were, heels on your chair or whatever. And then I want you to just turn your feet out a little bit. Turn your knees out. Let your knees drop a little open. And then same thing. Lift your hips up and lower down. And you can come all the way down each time and then lift up again. Or when you come down, you can just come close to the floor and just go right into the next one. You might do a few and then take a break. You might take a break each time, or you might just keep going, or firing up more of the outer hamstrings here, but there's also something happening in the inner leg as well. So just a few more like this, up and down. Let's do 2 more. I don't know about you, but I'm really feeling this. All right, give it a break. You might shake your legs out, you might hug your knees in, you might do whatever feels good. We have 1 more variation. We're going to put our heels on the chair. This time, have your heels, if you can, if your chair's wide enough, slightly wider than your hips, and slightly turn your knees slightly narrower than your hips. So your heels are a little bit wider than your hips, your knees are a little bit narrower than your hips. And then the same thing, we're going to lift up and we're going to come down. And we're going to lift up and we're going to come down. You want to come up to the point where you really feel that squeeze and contraction. And you might take a break on the floor each time, or you might not, or every couple of times. But now you might be feeling the inner hamstrings firing a little bit more. So let's just do 4 more like this. Squeeze up and down. Squeeze up and down. 2 more. Squeeze up and down. Last one. Squeeze up and down. Nice job. All right. Let's hug the knees in. Maybe sway a little bit. Release the back. And we'll lift the legs up. Kind of stretch that out a little bit. Maybe alternate flexing and pointing. And then just release your feet to the floor. Roll to the side and push yourself up. I want you to make your way to the middle of your mat, leaning with your hands behind you. And then we're going to take our feet wider than our hips. Just roll to the sides of your feet. Let your knees drop to one side. Bring them back up. Roll to the other side, sides of the feet, knees go over. Bring them back up. This time, that first side, roll to the sides of the feet, knees go to the side, take the hand from behind, bring it around until both your legs are on the floor. You could have a tight angle of your legs. You could have a wider angle of your legs. Take this arm that was behind, bring it around towards the computer, and then we're going to swing it around and turn around to face away from the camera. So it's a twist here. We're reaching back. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, bring that arm forward. Let's just do that one more time. Sweep that arm around until you sweep around to face the wall behind you. Reach back, take a breath, and then unwind. Great. Now this leg that's in front of us, let's place our hand on either side of that knee lower the chest over that thigh and bring your weight onto your forearms, or you might bring your head onto your hands, or however far over feels right for you. You might lean a little more towards your shin. You might lean a little more towards your knee. You might have a tighter angle of your front leg. You might have a wider angle of your front leg. You might play around. We want to feel a stretch in that front hip. So breathe into that front hip and let the breath go. Do that again. And then with your next inhale, lift your head up. Bring your hands down and lift your chest up. We're going to lean back and bring the knees up. And then we're going to let the knees drop all the way to the other side. The hand that was behind comes around. Then that arm is going to sweep all the way back around towards the wall, away from the camera. Take a breath. And then come back around to face your computer. Let's do that again. Sweep that arm forward and around and behind you. Reach back, take a breath. And then unwind yourself back towards the computer. And then this front leg, we're going to bring our hands on either side of that front knee. Lower the chest down over that, towards that knee. Come onto your forearms. You might stack one fist on top of the other to support your head, or maybe your head comes onto your arms or onto the floor. You could make the angle of your legs wider or narrower. You might lean a little more towards the shin if that would help you feel the stretch a little more, or you lean the other way. But breathe into that front hip. And let your breath empty out. One more deep breath in and out. And then we'll lift the head, bring the hands down, lift the chest, and lean back. Okay, we're going to transition to our final relaxation. So take a little time to set yourself up to be as comfortable as you can. I think sometimes when we're in our home practice, it's easier to be distracted during this time. So hopefully you have a quiet space, because this part of the practice really is very important for the body. So we're going to make our way to lying down comfortably, whether that means with a layer on or something under the head or under the knees. We want to be comfortable so that we can experience relaxation. So you might need to move things around or wiggle a little bit to find your most comfortable position. But once you've found a place that feels comfortable, let your body settle into an experience of ease and relaxation. What we do with our yoga practice is we really get in touch with the body. And we ask ourselves, we give ourselves a lot of instructions, and we perform a lot of movement. We activate a lot of muscles, and it's a lot of doing, engaging, focusing. And there's benefit in that. But there's also great benefit in being that person who can just be relaxed at ease, comfortable at rest. And so we practice that as well, giving our muscles this opportunity to experience what it feels like to be in the relaxed state. And when we let the body drop into that relaxed state, very naturally the mind comes along. And we can give our mind an opportunity to drop into that very easy, natural, relaxed state as well. As the body is relaxing, if you notice there's an area that still is holding some tension or some gripping or some clenching, invite that area to soften, to let go, to smooth out. Release. Body relaxes. The brain can relax. The back of the head, heavy. Resting. So as you continue to lie back and begin to transition out of your relaxation, perhaps spending these final few moments, again, just cultivating a sense of gratitude. Perhaps considering one or two or three things for which you're grateful. And see if you can think of something that's not the things that you constantly recognize that you're grateful for, but maybe something particular to today. Feel gratitude within you. And that is a way to feeling greater happiness. So you are welcome to stay lying down if that would feel nice. You can also start to transition back. And if you want to say hello before you, or say goodbye, you can do so. If you want to just head out, that's fine too. Thanks for being here. And I hope you all have a lovely day. Peace.